FOMScast podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FOMScast. My name is Michael Kalinas, and I'm excited to be here with Dr. Tracy Wong and our guest host, Maya Reynolds.
Hi, everybody.
All right. I want to take a little bit of time to introduce our amazing guest. I just had the pleasure of meeting you beforehand, and for the first time, and this has been it's a experience to have you on this podcast. We've been talking about this for a while. So yes, Dr. Tracy Wong is an international respected choral conductor, scholar, composer, and clinician whose works have had significant impact on contemporary choral practice. She holds a Doctor of Musical Arts and Master's in Music and Choral Conducting from the University of Toronto and completed her undergraduate in piano performance in Australia at the University of Newcastle. She is globally recognized for her leadership on the podium and her commitment to culturally responsive and inclusive repertoire, with a special focus on amplifying Asian and Asian-diasporic voices in choral music. Dr. Wong carries many accolades, and her compositions and arrangements commissioned and performed by choirs internationally. Her work continues to influence the field through both performance and research. Please, everybody, welcome Dr. Tracy Wong to the FOMScast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, it's been in the making, and we're super glad that you're here in person with us.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to have a quick getaway from the office. This is a weekday afternoon that we're recording, and Michael has so kindly walked me from my office across campus because that is how new I am. I have no idea where I am, but now I think I know better.
Yeah. And we know for next time.
Yes, exactly.
This is honestly, it's so great to have this type of recording studio here at Laurier.
I know. We're really lucky with the facilities that we have.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, we just have, like I said, it's pretty go where the wind takes us during the podcast. So we have some guiding questions, but if you just want to spend some time and kind of talk about kind of your pathway and getting to where you are now in music, how that was for you. That might that's a very open-ended question, but
absolutely. So my role at Laurier is I direct the Laurier Singers and Concert Choir. So I'm here as the choral director, and I've also, like the last term, I was teaching one of the vocal methods classes, and I loved it because everyone in the class is not a voice person, not a voice major. And it's just so nice to see light bulbs turn on in the room, and how someone who never knew they could sing, they say, is this my voice? I say, yeah, let's go with that. And it ends up being such a lovely exploration, and everyone was really eager. Shout out to the first years that's coming in this year. So brave to try different things. And it's been so energizing for an 8:30 class to sing.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that class.
There's no better way to start your day off than singing, though.
Yes,
just get you in the right space.
Nice warm up.
Yeah.
Get into some nice energy with the room.
Yeah, they're lovely, and it's nice to see how they could connect their singing voice to their instrument of choice at the end of the day, and how one should always feed off the other. Because hopefully, and I know I speak for all the faculty in the music building, that hopefully when students graduate, they feel like the full musician from head to toe. So that you feel able to tackle and lean into the wind, where you feel like it's always telling you don't do something, but because you have those skills and those opportunities to explore, it just makes you a little bit braver to want to try that, even if you're not sure. Yeah, it's just the resiliency that's built up. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, I think like being able to be in a space comfortable to take that risk. I know like it was definitely different in high school, I find, with like not a lot of people felt comfortable taking that risk. I was reluctant when I joined my vocal class in grade 11 or grade 10 because I didn't do it in grade 9. I'm like, I'm not going to sing. Come on.
High school's brutal.
Yeah.
High school's a totally different world, and the playground is a totally different world. It's like a safari out there. But at the same time, this is where we see the most self-conscious human beings. And the most, the reluctance definitely comes from the survival skills, that we're always front facing and we're trying to sculpt a social version of ourselves. And it's nice to have an ensemble where you can make music and you kind of, duck into the shadows a little bit, especially as an introvert. I'm an introvert, and that's why I lean into choir. That I love music making. I love being around my friends, but I don't know what to talk to them about too much. Like small groups of people, like, okay, there's 4 in this podcast room. Great. You double that? I'm not sure. I may just stand at the side and sip coffee until like, hey, how are you? It's so strange. It's so awkward. But it's nice to be able to be in a room with friends and we all have a collective goal and we're just making music. And that's how social bonds happen. So people show up at their level of comfort. And I see that in the choral space. I think that's why I stay in the choral space, because I was that shy high school kid. And it was brutal for me. I went to an all-girls school and it's really, really brutal in an all-girls school. Maya's going,
Yeah, I have a friend. It's funny because I actually had the opportunity to sit in on one of your choir classes when you were reading through Pilar's piece. And she also went to an all-girls school and was that shy kid. So it's funny to see, like, she gathers so much inspiration from you. Like, when we went to your choral symposium, I just feel like you're putting a lot of good stuff out into the world.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to make it a space that I wish I had as well. And my choir teacher in high school did that for me. And we all come into music, either it's performance or education, music therapy or community music, because of one teacher who just tapped us on the shoulder and told us that, hey, I think you'd be great for this. There's always one teacher there. So, and we cannot solve the world's problems, but we can just try and make someone's moment a little bit better if they're in the space. That's what we try.
Yeah. And I think music is such a beautiful tool to do that.
Yeah.
There's such a vulnerability that comes with that, it's really so amazing to explore that with other people, especially. There's nothing like making music with somebody else.
Yeah. And that experience, like, I feel builds a bond that doesn't compare to any other. Like, for sure, the bonds you can build in music just working together, it creates a different type of friendship than just like maybe working together at a job, like maybe your desk cubicles are beside each other, versus like actually connecting and listening to that person and listening to what they do.
Absolutely. There are many corporate situations around the world who actually create a work choir for themselves. For example, in Indonesia, they have like the passport and customs department, and they would have a choir for themselves. Or like the post office, they would have their staff choir. And they will get one of the conductors from community to go rehearse with them once a week. So you have all these different choirs coming out. Or the police department, they would have their own choir. And when it comes to choir festivals, the police are the ones who are helping to navigate traffic for the choir festival. So we really see that whole back and forth and the community engagement in that. And voice is just such a vulnerable instrument, because if we have grown up with an instrument, I was piano first, and before I started singing. And for pianists, we always have one side of our profile, and I'm gesturing to my right side of my face. We always have our right side facing the audience. And then we have this huge monster of a machine that we can just focus on. But for the voice, you're front facing and nothing to hang on to. You don't have a guitar to hug. You don't have a tuba to hug.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like hiding behind my tuba sometimes, and it's like,
And then our hands get restless because we always use our hands and our feet to make a motion to create a sound. But what I'm always reminded of is that in choir, singers always tell me, we are asking us to do different things in our brains, that we have to make sound out of nothing. As opposed to, I can strike something, I can hit something to create a sound. And it requires a difference out of the brain, but more importantly, it requires a vulnerability that comes in. Because if you feel nervous that day, that's going to show up on your voice. And as choral directors, we have to accept what comes through, as opposed to the old adage of leave your baggage at the door. I don't think that works really well anymore. Hot take.
Nope. I agree.
It's not the world we live in anymore.
No.
And so we have to adapt.
You have to embrace it, if
Yeah,
anything.
Exactly.
We embrace it and we go along with it and we just navigate through it. And I think that's more helpful of just the community that we're trying to build in the classroom.
Yeah, and it's just like it's deconstructing that hierarchy between conductor and players or whatever, because that's something that is really like apparent, especially in a like traditional high school music setting, or even in some post-secondary settings where like it's super hierarchical, if that makes sense. And being able to accept and understand and get to know your students on like a personal level just really brings that community together. And I think that being able to accept that this is vulnerable what we're doing, and that you're gonna have bad days, and that what can we do to make the most enjoyment out of it? Something that's really, really special.
Yeah. And then going from singer to conductor, you're on the other side of the music stand. If you ever want to call the podcast this title, The Other Side of the Music Stand.
Oh, there we go. We got title right here.
Guys.
I was literally just thinking in my head, I'm like, what are we going to call this episode?
The Other Side of the Music Stand.
There we go.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm just really intrigued, Michael, because you're a final year student and you are on the other side of the music stand as well. What are some of the things that you're starting to notice?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always heard kind of the saying that like the greatest conductors always are still players, and that's something that like, maybe you don't have to be like super virtuosic, like performance, selling out halls or something, but still keeping up with your instrument and being, putting yourself in the player's shoes, because you don't want to like
both sides of the stand.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something that I've realized, like it's super cool to have that experience to be on the podium as a student, because it's right there. Like I am playing in wind ensemble, yet I'm also conducting wind ensemble. And I think that having that kind of dichotomy and being able to understand that, like, bring my player aspect and my musicality to the podium.
It's more relatable.
It's totally relatable, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure, Maya, when you're seeing your peers on the other side of the music stand,
Yeah.
what do you have that sense of pride? Do you feel like, I want to cheer you on? Or
100%. I find that it is very easy to like sort of have that weird dynamic, but half the time you have to remember that person on the other side of the stand is just as nervous as you are.
Oh, totally.
Like
big time.
Especially like when it is a student conductor, like it's so inspiring to see people stepping into that role now, and like especially like what you've been doing, Michael, like going all over the place.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious kind of on how your journey from the transition, like you did a BMus in piano performance, and how did that kind of mold into choir? Like, yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I am an only child. So I think that says a lot in terms of needing to self-soothe and just entertain myself. And I played the piano, but I was always in a children's choir. So I'm a product of children's choirs, and especially when you go to school, from my Malaysian background, we have the remnants of the British colonized past. So that means I went to a convent school, and we studied the subjects both in Malay, the local language, and also in English. And then when it came to choir, it was like the traditional English choir, where we do the Sound of Music, we do all the Rogers and Hammerstein and things like that. And then we, because my convent school was very close to a Malay village in the hometown of Ipoh. Ipoh is the same hometown as Michelle Yeoh. So she's my homegirl. And she went to another convent school as well, a rival one, but we are all really proud of each other.
Lots of talent.
Yeah. And it just cultivated, because we're so close to the Malay village, that we have a lot of students from that community who are there. Therefore, the music program, or our culture and arts program, has morphed into a hybrid situation. So if I'm singing about a kite, we are making a kite in art class. We are writing poetry and literature and learning what a stanza looks like in language class. So everything's just a little bit more connected that way. And if we make the kite and the kite don't fly, we fail, because it's an idea of efficiency. If we are making something and it's of the earth and it's natural products, then it has to be functional. So every time when we are making something, like making music, making something that we can see in front of us, it always has to have a sense of purpose and efficiency. Then I think that's how we grew up in terms of values. And we've always been singing in school. My mom was a worship leader, so I've always sung at home. And then seeing how she would plan an entire session, she's like, yeah, you gotta go strong at the top, and you gotta like make it a little bit more relaxed in the middle, and then you gotta let them go home really, really happy. I was like, oh. So I think that's where I started to realize this is how I set up a program.
Yeah.
A choir, and how to really rally people in a group singing setting.
Yeah, just instilled in you.
Yeah, and I wasn't realizing that at the start. So being in choir was one thing. And then because I was one of the few people in choir who had the luxury of having piano lessons outside of school, that's where you become the pianist, you become the alto, you become someone who's not the main melody because you can hold down a part. It all comes in handy. And then if the teacher's not there, say, hey, can you take over a rehearsal? And then it continued from there. So at the end of high school, I just thought, I want to be like my high school choir teacher, Susanna Saw. And I just told my dad, and I said, I want to do what she does. And he said, who is she and what does she do? I said, oh, she's a choir teacher. I said, is there even such a thing? And I came from such a small town at that time that I never knew there was such thing as a degree in music, period.
Wow.
Yeah. So for her to take me to the city and just like get me under her wing and just like shadow her. I'll be carrying the piano, the keyboard, go to different schools, and we'll do all these satellite programs and work with them in sections. And that's where, it just happens because of need. Like, hey, I need someone for this. Hey, can you fill in that spot? Hey, I'm not here this week. Can you help run that rehearsal? And this is where that whole idea of leading an ensemble came in. Yeah. It's not I wake up one day when I want to go, like, I want to wave my arms and it didn't happen like that.
No, I think that that's something, and taking that first step as well to just be like, to just ask.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm like curious in what you do and I want to get more experience. People are more than willing to give that, because that's also why we do what we do, to inspire others, right? Yeah. You were saying, there was always that high school music teacher. And I had one. Yeah. You had one, I'm sure. I had one. Shout out Stuart Sue.
Shout out Matthew Tuman.
Yeah. I think that being able to, taking that first step and admitting to yourself that like you do have what it takes to, but taking that first step into leadership is daunting for some people, but I think
yeah, and there are people who have been asking, how do we get rid of nervousness on the podium? And it never goes away. And it's the same with any performer doing a solo and you're stepping on stage. The moment you stop feeling worried is the moment you stop caring. So how do we turn that into a different perspective? We know that we're doing it together. And I say, at the end of the day, as a conductor, your back's towards the audience. We're good. And if we have that comfort right there and knowing that you just have to focus on the human beings in front of you, we're fine. And if we can just place the rule in choral methods would be, as a conductor, number one, serve the people. Number two, serve the music.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was really funny. I was talking to Dr. Emery the other day, and I'm pulling up an email that he sent me about, Dr. Emery. We had him on the podcast. It was just this recent episode. Sorry, when we're filming, this will be the episode after that one when we're recording. But he sent me an email about from his third year conducting class at UBC, because we're talking about conducting, and I'm trying to find it here. And there's a list. It was like 12 rules in conducting, and the very first one, oh my goodness, where is it? Theo Emery. There we go.
The suspense is killing me.
So there's 12 in total, and the very first one is love your singers, and I took that as love your players or whatever, like love, and the second one is love humanity. 3 is insist on personal and musical integrity. 4 is study the music until you know it as well as the composer. 5 is study the music again and again until you know it as well as the composer. 6 is strive to perfect the technique of music so that the heart of music may shine through. Number 7 is love your family. Number 8 is spend time with your family. Number 9 is maintain your sense of humor. Number 10 is pay attention to what your colleagues are doing. Number 11 is keep up your instrument. And number 12 is get outside.
Wow.
And I love those. I read them and I was like, wow, that's so true.
Yeah. It goes from the self to people outside of our immediate circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to have that, because conducting can be such a solitary job. And a very singular situation where, like before this, Michael, you saw Dr. McGray, me in the office, and then Dr. Emery was there as well, because we are the only ones who do what we do in the faculty, and we are the only ones who know how to make the decisions that we make for ourselves in our specialized area. It gets lonely. And that's why we're like, hey, are you in your office? It's like a quick lunch break just to kind of chat and connect and say, are you feeling the same way? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because it just balances things out.
Yeah.
If we ask of that for the students, I think sometimes as faculty, we forget to balance that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think even as a student, like having that imposter syndrome sometimes, it honestly just helps to talk to other people, realize they're feeling the same way, you know, like
Especially this time of year.
yeah. Oh my
January
gosh.
sucks. It is the
Yeah.
worst month ever. Hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take. Maybe it's not.
No, yeah. No, January is yeah.
No,
It's
January's
not
not
great.
fun.
It's not
It's not
great.
good.
Like I
Especially
always
here
think
in
it's
Canada.
February, but it's January.
Drink water, take your supplements.
Yes. Yeah, make
Go
sure
on a
everybody's
walk.
getting their vitamin D, especially if you're in Canada. If you're listening
Yes.
outside of Canada, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
know if we
really
have
insane.
We're going international with the podcast.
It's possible.
Yeah. Great. I think being able to kind of talk about how do you bring that background into, like, what does a typical choir rehearsal at Laurier look like? What in terms of like what is your process of setting that up and kind of
There has to be a certain amount of similarity from rehearsal to rehearsal,
Yeah.
just so that we know what's expected. And then a certain amount of fresh things that we can do from different perspectives, so it doesn't become mundane.
Yeah.
But overall, it has to have structure. It must have structure. It must have flow. I plan things down to the minute. Do I really follow it down to the minute? No. Half the time it doesn't happen, but it's helpful to know, like, this is my game plan going in. And if it falls apart, I know what else I can pull out of my sleeve. There's always a notebook next to my iPad, and the notebook is where all my timestamps are.
Nice.
And half the time it's like, once we're planning and we can visualize, then we don't even need to look at the notebook because we already know, we've already run through everything.
Yep.
And if anything, music performers are the best at visualizing.
Yeah.
Because we always have to prep worst case scenario on stage. What's going to happen on that day? What am I going to wear? How's the air going to feel? What's the humidity level? You know, all these kind of things that people don't normally think about.
100%.
And we're doing it every day in a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And I'm understanding and reminding myself that folks who are coming through the doors may have had different experiences before coming in, and different moments and different parts of their day that's showing up for them and not. And we are there to just work with the students. And having that kind of idea, and okay, let's just focus on the music. When it's a time to say something, when it's a time to not say something, there's always a conductor. So my conducting teacher at U of T always told us in choral methods class and conducting, 7 words or less. Not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not in that club yet. Sometimes I drop out of that club. Sometimes I'm like a good member in that 7 words or less club. So I always have to check myself and read the room as best as I can.
Yeah.
And just run through the music. It's always warm up, and then tackling either the most challenging piece for the day or the easiest one of the day, depending on where we are in the term.
Yeah.
And we just have to be a little bit more flexible that way. And then after that, making sure that they are leaving in good spirits or leaving knowing that they can do something. I think that's the best way we can send them off, so that they're not bringing it to somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I feel like choir has always for me just been like, sometimes it's hard to get there. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to go to choir today. But then you get there and you sing with everybody, and it's just so, it can brighten up your whole day.
Yeah, I sing still in a chamber choir in Toronto, Exultate Chamber Singers, and I've returned to that partly because there is a time for me to go in for the rehearsals now, and it's nice to know half the people in the choir who are colleagues in various situations, and the entire soprano sections are all music educators and conductors.
Oh, wow.
And solid singers, and I've never had the better experience working with a whole bunch of sopranos together who are there for each other.
Oh my God. That's
Right,
amazing.
right.
That's amazing.
And if you've been in a choir, having sopranos that work together is a blessing.
Mhm.
And because like personality aside, it's just a lot of high notes, a lot of needing to balance and things like that.
And really needing to listen to each other.
Absolutely. But because the whole section are all music educators and conductors, if someone drops the ball on something, it never happens again the second time. And everyone just shows up for each other. If someone drops an oar, someone else picks it up and continues paddling, and we just know when to jump back in. So when I go in there as a singer, it reminds me of the struggles and the perspective of the singers in the choir. I've been a lifelong singer, but I can't forget how it feels like to be a singer on the other side of the music stand.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to just remind myself, okay, this is not a me problem. It's not a them problem. It's a we need to do this again problem. So it's just making better decisions.
It's true.
Yeah, I always found I mean, coming here to Laurier, I came here for tuba. That's my main instrument, but I sang all throughout high school in like our chamber choir, and I took the vocal class. And
What did you do in university, Michael, to keep singing?
Now I was like, oh, I really want to like keep singing in university. So I did the acapella group for 3 years, and it was a very like, it's different, but it was like still that sense of community. And now, I mean, in my 4th year, unfortunately, didn't have time for it. But even now, I'm like, oh, I wish I could sing more. I miss it.
I know. I love when you come by, like, and hang out with us.
Yeah. And I mean, my good friend, Drew Arson, who he's a grad here. I don't know if you know Drew or not, but he's a composer, choral composer. And whenever he just started a new chamber group, Eternal Voices, I think it's called here in Waterloo.
They're really good.
And he was like, hey, I need a bass for this concert. I'm like, me? I'm like, here, I know I play the tuba, but like, please.
But it's that need, right? Like, it always goes back to that at the end of the day. Can you fill in for this person, you know?
I'm like, yeah, I want to sing. I love it. And it's like being able to, it's also like being as well-rounded a musician as possible, like going all the way back to the beginning of this podcast with when you were talking about that the introductory class, the vocal tech with all the non-singers, and like you said, like being a musician, full body musician, being prepared for that. That's why singing is just, it's so important, and singing in a group setting as well.
Yeah, it's lovely that we can do all these little bits of shout outs with all the all the singing ensembles and singing groups that we have on campus. It's quite lovely to see what a vibrant community it is. And it also reminds me that it's wonderful to have a large community. It's a rich community of students from not only locally but across the country, but we also get students from every corner of the world coming in. I came to Canada as an international student. So moving away from home and just having that sense of belonging. I knew I don't know anyone, but I knew I had to sign up for a choir because choir was the only place where everything is the same around the world. If I don't know people, I just know I'm supposed to show up with my music and a pencil. I just need to ask where I'm supposed to sit. I know I'm supposed to breathe here. I'm supposed to mark my score. I feel better. And that's my way of integrating myself into a community. And if we can do that with our ensembles, can you imagine how we can just kind of create better, kinder communities just from singing? If we can agree on breathing together, I think we can agree on many things.
I saw, what was that? I saw on your bulletin board outside your office, it was like, when is the time to breathe? And it said yesterday.
I saw that. Oh my God.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. No. That's what I always say. Oh, should I breathe here? Or is it somewhere else? Let's try again.
Anywhere else.
Yeah. I think, Kitchener-Waterloo is such a rich vocal community as well. I mean, even with, there's a lot of people singing in the churches, like the choral scholars, and that's like really great experience singing in that setting with other people. And
but also a good way to get experience and like a bit of pay going, like especially as a student. But then there's also things like KW Glee, which provide that opportunity for like adults as well, and they have a youth group. But yeah, it's really cool how choirs they're everywhere.
Right, and you have Vox as well that provides a really cool experience for singers, especially if they want to work with a band. That's always really helpful to understand how to integrate that. How do we pick up cues, from an instrument besides a piano? That's 100%. All really good perspectives to have. And then having students of different lived experience coming in. If we don't know music of a certain style or a certain culture or a group, half of the time, the resource is within the classroom itself with the students.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of picking the program and understanding, is this the right time to do this piece?
Yes.
How can we make time rather than find time? How do we make time to have that conversation about the music? Why is it important to connect the singers with the composers? We'll have those folks, the music creators and those who arrange and compose, hop on Zoom if they cannot come in, to just really talk about the music and for the students to realize how relatable they can be. Like one of the big pieces we're doing now for Laurier Singers and Concert Choir is with Katerina Gimmon, who is a Laurier alum and started in choirs and has always been taking all the different courses and composition at Laurier and still has a big flag to wave for Laurier on all her international travels. So we're working on one of her pieces and it's pretty exciting. It's unconventional. I was like, yeah, it's great. And Laurier is a great place to do it because the students are exposed to both classical and CCM styles.
Yes, a broad variety
commercial
of
contemporary
everything.
music. And everyone feels brave to just do it. And then because the faculty is also really supportive and the programs just kind of merge into each other.
Yeah.
So it really helps to just try different styles in the choir. And it's like, do you want to try this? And you're like, yes, I don't know, but yes.
I'm a little scared, but here we go.
Yeah, that's it. That's a great attitude.
And like having the academic side and like the way that the program is built, having that embrace that, in fact, as well, like with this new curriculum change and everything, like it's all embracing the fact that, you know, slogan plug your music matters.
100%,
you know,
100%.
if we don't plug Laurier already too many times in this podcast, but it's you know,
we just love it here so much. Right?
Also, we're talking about Vox for a second. I'll plug Vox. Every single time I go and see a Vox concert, I get like major FOMO. I'm like, I wish I was doing that. I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, what do you mean?
It's really funny because I started off in like Rainforesters, but then I moved over to Vox, and it's a very different experience. But I feel like I've learned so much from both. I've been able to like I feel the cross training is really good. But now I'm like, oh my god, like I'd love to be in concert choir. I'd love to try. I wish I could do all of them, guys. But
well, speaking of concert choir and everything, do you have? I'm looking up to see if we can plug some dates to come and see the Laurier concert choir or the Laurier singers as well. I'm pulling it up right now.
I know it's in 2 weeks' time. I just need to remember the dates. Here we go. 10th of February, and it's in the evening.
Okay.
And we have Laurier singers, we have concert choir, and we have guests. The Grand Philharmonic Youth Choir.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, I used to conduct them many years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And they are part of the larger family of Grand Philharmonic choirs. So they have the adults, they have the children, they have the youth, somewhere in between, and they have a chamber choir as well. And usually they'll do their own standalone concerts, or they'll do anything in collaboration with KWS, Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony, when they do the big symphonic works. And it's nice for them to come over and do something with us. And also their current conductor for the youth choir, Greer Schatz, is also a Laurier alum.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
that's just fantastic.
It's so funny to see all the Laurier people everywhere. Like, it's very nice.
We're making pretty big impact here in Waterloo and internationally as well. And that's great. Well, we are coming up on time, so I think that is all that what we have today. But thank you so much for being here, Dr. Wong.
Thank you, Dr. Wong.
Thanks for having me.
We're so lucky to have you.
Yay.
Yeah, no, it's been great meeting you and talking to you, and I think I'm excited to see what
comes next.
Yes, I'm definitely going to check out that concert choir
February
show February 10th, 7:30. Be there, be square.
Exactly, guys.
All right. Well, I think that's us signing off.
Bye.
Bye.
FOMScast podcast.